The other piece of information that I'm in a position to share now, which was of course shared at the Kensington meeting on Monday night, is that last December the board met with Minister Fassbender and agreed to develop a terms of reference for a facilitated discussion between UBID and KIP in an effort to get both parties back to the negotiating table. That terms of reference specifically identifies the facilitator as a facilitator. He's not mediating a new agreement or helping to negotiate a new agreement. His sole job is to ease communication between UBID and Kensington Island Properties so that we can begin to negotiate. At this point, the board has had one meeting with him, where the entire board met with him, and Kevin and I met with him individually as well. So, as far as I know, he's finishing up all of his discussions this week, and we'll be going back to the ministry to have some discussions with the ministry, and we will see where that leads from there. So that's the in-camera things that we can record. I have a copy of the letter that we received. It's the letter from Peter Jakes, asking the board to consider in relation to the mediation that we postpone completion of the land purchase. The board has considered this request, and we will be proceeding to completion of the land purchase. So that's correspondence. Okay, the next item of business is reports. First one is yours, Kevin.
So I have a few items to report on this month. Firstly, the usual, the March water toll invoices were mailed out last week with a due date of Thursday, March the 31st. Please ensure you make your arrangements to pay your bill either by traditional mail, through online banking, in person, by cash or check, or by signing up for automatic direct payment withdrawal service prior to the due date in order to avoid a 10% late payment penalty. Secondly, on February 18th, I issued 22 water toll reminder and/or collection letters, in addition to 15 water toll final disconnection notices. All these letters specified a deadline of Tuesday, March the 8th for a response and/or payment in full to be received by our office. Regrettably, 13 24-hour disconnection notices were ultimately issued and formally posted by our Public Works staff at each residence this past Monday. The overall arrears comprised in these 37 accounts that I note here totaled $19,174.94 as of February 18th when those letters were issued. As of March 11th, payments totaling $3,468.45 had been received, resulting in 9 accounts being withdrawn from the arrears list. I have subsequent information I can add to that as well. Over the last couple of days, in response to the 24-hour notices, of the 13 that were issued final notices, 5 have now paid up in full, in excess of over $2,000. 3 have paid us a lump sum payment and will be going on a subsequent plan. 1 fully paid amount is pending. 2 plans are pending, and 2 are going to be shut off from lack of response. So I will be keeping the Finance Committee and the trustees updated as to the progress on this front. And of course, lastly, a further reminder that the 2016 Annual General Meeting will be held on Saturday, April 2nd, 2016, in the main hall at the Union Bay Community Hall from 2 to 4 p.m. Voter registration, as always, will commence at 1 p.m. The purpose of the AGM, of course, is to report to the landowners on activities of the past year and to elect 2 trustees this year, each for a 3-year term. The trustees' positions currently being held by Bruce Livesey and Marie Gaudreau are open for election. With the nomination period coming to an end, effective 4 p.m. on Friday, March the 16th, I can now announce that the following individuals, which have been listed in alphabetical order by last name, have duly submitted their nomination papers and now stand for election. That would be Jim Elliott, Peter Jakes, Bruce Livesey, and Glenn Loxon. General voting will occur at the AGM with an advanced poll opportunity to be held on Monday, March the 21st from 2 to 7 p.m. here at our administration office. A copy of the UBIT election policy, which is policy 1B11, is available on the bylaws and policy page on our website, or a hard copy can be picked up in person here at the office. Just a reminder, individuals eligible to vote must meet all of the following requirements. You must be a Canadian citizen, you must be 18 years of age or older, a registered owner of land on title in the improvement district, or a duly appointed designate in the case of properties owned by commercial entities, and we do require that in writing. A resident of the province of British Columbia for the past 6 months, and entitled to be registered as a voter under the BC Elections Act. And as always, we'll be requiring ID at time of registration. And that concludes my administrator's report for March.
Are there any questions for Kevin?
I just a point of clarification, ID, 1 piece, 2 pieces?
Picture ID is preferable, so if it's as long as it's a driver's license or something, one would be suffice. If not, then two would be required.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Can I have a motion to accept Kevin's report?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Don't fight over.
You won't.
The next report is the Finance Committee report. Bruce?
Yeah. The Finance Committee met with the Administrator on March the 11th, 16, and reviewed the Finance Report to February the 29th, 16. There were no extraordinary revenue or expenses to report, and the report meets the Committee's expectations for this reporting period. As Kevin just said, the Committee and/or the Administrator should be able to report on the outcome of the 24-hour water shut-off notices that have been issued to outstanding accounts at our next meeting, which Kevin's already talked about. And that concludes my report.
Are there any questions for Bruce? Okay, a motion to accept the finance report.
I'll make that motion.
Seconder? All in favor? Carried. Okay, Marie, fire report.
The fire committee did not meet in February, so there's nothing new to report. The fire chief's report for February is reading now.
Can you speak up, please?
Sorry. We didn't meet, and the fire committee did not meet in February, so there's nothing new to report. So the fire chief's report for February is 2 motor vehicle incidents, 3 first responders, and 1 chimney fire. Monthly fire response statistics. The total time worked was 3 hours and 13 minutes. Average time on call was 32 minutes. Total number of responders was 26. And the average number of responders was 4. There's currently no open burning bans in place. Training, the department will be utilizing the former Union Bay Elementary School building on a continuing basis to improve on its collective training in fireground scenarios. It will be acquiring a rescue dummy as well as constructing some training aids and confined space props for use in civilian rescue training and firefighter self-rescue. The current roster strength is 23. Last time he said it was 22. I don't know why it's now, did we get a new one, or did he just make a mistake?
Yeah, what's basically happening is we had 23, we went down to 22,
Yeah.
and a new recruit has recently come on board.
Marvelous.
And that's partly in advance of one of our current members taking a job up in, I believe, Nunavut. So he will be leaving shortly.
So we'll go back down to 22?
Probably down to 22, so we'll continue to recruit as always.
Okay, we'll get a new recruit. That looks like all for the moment. That's it with fire.
Are there any questions for Marie? Comments? A motion to accept for information. Alan, seconder.
Sure, Elsa.
Bruce, all in favor? Fire Hall Working Group, Anne.
Okay, the group met on February the 24th. We had a presentation from Johnston Davidson Architecture and Planning. They've done a number of fire halls on the island, including Oyster River and North Cedar. We felt it was a very informative and interesting presentation. They will be getting back to us with a quote to oversee the new fire hall project, which is a fire hall administration project. They are the second company of four that we will be getting quotes from. We discussed the next step in the process, which is to obtain a survey of the property on McLeod Road, which has been chosen as the site for the new fire hall. Once that's done, Kevin and I will meet with the planning department at the CBRD to begin the rezoning process. The group discussed scheduling...
Louder, please. Sorry.
The group discussed scheduling some site visits to other fire halls on the island. We hope to arrange a visit to Oyster River in early April, then one to North Cedar in late May. We discussed the development of a community awareness and engagement program this year, and we plan to begin that process with an article in the next Landowners Update, then have community meetings beginning in the fall. The group will meet again on March 30th, and NAPIT Project Management will be giving a presentation at that meeting. We will have one more company do a presentation before we make our final decision on who will oversee the project. And that's my report. Thank you.
Just a point of clarification, it would be to make a recommendation on who will oversee the project.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, to the fire hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any questions for Anne? Okay, can I have a motion to accept the fire hall report? Marie, seconder? Anne, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, Alan, Public Works.
The Public Works Committee met on March the 7th and reviewed reports and information. First one being the Superintendent's report. On Langley Lake, the cleanup of logs inside the boom area and spillway and diffuser is still underway. The culverts are all clear and flowing nicely. The preliminary cost estimate to replace the boom is $2,500. This project for the spring will prevent logs or peat from entering the spillway. The water quality, the turbidity has been very slowly going down from the 2.46 range down to 1.89. This is probably be the cause of the next couple of months through the springtime. We have set a date to do the annual flush at the end of April. The chlorine dose has been very stable and has only been raised a small amount and lower back to normal throughout the last 2 months. The water is tested by the private lab and also the Ministry of Health. On new services, there were 2 new services to be hooked up soon in Kilmarnock and another lot on Emerton Road. The water stats, the in NTUs at 2.15, the outflowing NTUs at 1.84, chlorine at 1.55, the tank level is 40 centimeters from the full, and the tank temperature is ranging between 6.5 and 8 degrees Celsius. Water consumption is around 580 cubic meters a day. The Langley Lake height is 2 to 10 centimeters over the weir. So that's Dan's report. On the facilities plan, we heard from Kevin that COAs were making progress, and we're expected to report back within the next couple of weeks regarding the facilities plan. We've had a conditional offer on a piece of land adjacent to the freeway that will be used as the proposed permanent water treatment and reservoir. The elevation of the land will enable the supply to the community to deal with low pressure issues, prevails currently over 5 to 7% of the area, and suitably sized reservoir that can look after the community's firefighting needs for the future. Information of this was on the March Landowners Update. The other point was the committee reviewed a bylaw 264, which is a project that has been identified for a couple of years ago, but has taken a lot of research and coordination to pull together, and thanks to Kevin for that. The bylaw consolidates all the subdivision requirements, specifications, fire code requirements, and complete with an application form that becomes the control document which will check through phases. The bylaw will be read later in this meeting. That concludes my report.
Are there any questions for Kevin? Or
No, it's Alan.
Sorry, Alan?
Question. Alan, I've been told this before, but I forgot. What do the NTUs have to be before we get a boil water advisory?
Well, they're specified as one, but we've got some latitude because we have a long dwell time in the winter. And as long as the bugs are all killed, As long as all the bugs are killed, that's fine. The boil water advisory in town occurs because they have very short dwell time, and then they get bugs in the water when they do the health checks. So that's why they invoke them. They'd like it under one, but one is for us is only a summertime number.
Any other questions, comments? Can I have a motion to accept Alan's report for information?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
And Bruce, all in favor? Okay, carried. Okay, new business. Now you're all going to have to endure this. This is the new bylaw that we have for subdivision. It's 11 pages. I have to read it twice, so you get to listen to it twice. So this is bylaw number 264, titled Development and Subdivision Water Regulation and Standards Bylaw 2016. Whereas improvement districts are authorized under section 698(1)K, 700, 701, and 702 of the Local Government Act to establish servicing standards and require property owners subdividing or developing their lands to follow them. And whereas under section 698(1)M of the Local Government Act, the improvement district may establish penalties for non-compliance with district regulations and bylaws. And further whereas, the Board of Trustees of the Union Bay Improvement District wishes to establish requirements and standards for water distribution systems, fire hydrants, and street lighting on lands to be subdivided or developed, and on roads adjacent to those lands, and to establish penalties for non-compliance. Now therefore, the Board of Trustees of the Union Bay Improvement District in open meeting assembled enacts as follows. Number 1, purpose. This bylaw sets out the application process, servicing requirements, and design and construction standards to be followed by landowners applying for water or street lighting services as part of a proposal to subdivide or develop their land. Number 2, definitions and interpretations. In this bylaw, applicant means the owner of a property or the authorized agent of the owners who has submitted an application for water or street lighting services in relation to the proposed subdivision of land to which water may be supplied by the district. Approving officer means the provincial subdivision approving officer under section 77.2 of the Land Title Act. Build out means the ultimate development of all parcels in a proposed subdivision. District means the Union Bay Improvement District and its duly appointed representatives. Enactment means an act or a regulation or a portion of an act or a regulation. Excess or extended services means a portion of the water system that will serve property other than the property being subdivided or developed. Excess services are works that exceed the servicing needs of the subject property, but are required by the district to accommodate anticipated growth. Extended services are extensions made to the water system in order to provide services to a property physically located outside the water service area. Frontage means the length of a parcel boundary which abuts a highway. Highway includes a street, road, lane, bridge, viaduct, or any other way open to the use of the public, but specifically excludes private rights of way on private property. Parcel means a lot, block, or any other in which land is held or into which it is subdivided, but does not include a highway. property means any parcel contained within the boundaries of the district's water system service area. Regional district means the Comox Valley Regional District. Requested service means a request for water or for street lighting services. Regulation includes a bylaw enacted by the district or the regional district. Road means the same as highway. Standard means the design and construction standards for the district's water system and street lighting system as set out in Schedule B and C of this bylaw. Street lighting means overhead street lighting, ornamental street lighting, or both. Subdivision means a subdivision as defined in the Land Title Act or the Strata Property Act. Water service area means any property located within the area serviced by the district's water system and that pays a water parcel tax. Water system means the system of waterworks owned, operated, and maintained by the district. Waterworks means any structures, including pipes and all attachments, fitting and facilitating the production, storage, conveyance, treatment, and distribution of water. Works means street lighting and or waterworks as the case may be and context determines. That's just the definitions. Section 3, general prohibitions and penalties. Land that is connected to the district's water system or proposed for connection must not be subdivided contrary to the provisions of this bylaw. A person shall be deemed to have committed an offense if that person, A, does or suffers any act or permits any act to be done in contravention of this bylaw, or B, neglects to do or refrains from doing any act that is required by this bylaw. A person who commits an offense under this bylaw is liable on summary conviction to a penalty in accordance with the Offense Act. Number 4, inspection and rights to access. An officer, employee, agent, or representative of the district may enter at all reasonable times upon land subject to this bylaw to ascertain whether the provisions of the bylaw are being obeyed, provided that A, consent to inspect the land is obtained from the owner or occupier, or B, where such consent has been refused, written notice of the intent to inspect is given to the owner or occupier no less than 24 hours prior to the time of inspection. No person shall obstruct or prevent a person referred to in subsection 4.1, which is above, from carrying out any of the provisions of this bylaw. All inspections of works constructed pursuant to this bylaw must be completed by the district's engineers at the owner's expense. The district's public works superintendent or technician will perform all water quality tests, pressure testing, flushing, or chlorination of the line extension portion of the work at the owner's expense. Other enactments. Nothing contained in this bylaw shall relieve any person from responsibility for seeking out and complying with other enactments applicable to their undertaking. Number 6, approvals, subdivision of land. Under Section 81 of the Land Title Act, the subdivision approving officer must notify the district when a subdivision plan has been received. Under Section 8.7 of the Land Title Act, the subdivision approving officer may refuse to approve a subdivision plan if the services do not meet the standards set by the district in any bylaw regulating or requiring the provision of works or services in relation to the subdivision of land. In accordance with the provisions of this bylaw and the Local Government Act, the district will review all applicants' requests for service and advise the subdivision